The most confusing team in the NBA. Let's go.
Hello everybody, welcome to Little Rusty Bucket. Subscribe to the channel, drop a like on this video, trying to hit 50k subs, so that subscription would be much appreciated. Also, if you are on your phone, go ahead and hype the video, as that is the best way to make it perform better in the YouTube algorithm.
What? I already did that for the homie. I already hit the subscribe button, so y'all see any fans is coming to see his video, me react to it. I already did, and I'm gonna have his video in the description. Hit the subscribe button and like button for me, especially if you've been tuning in for a while. Let's go ahead and get straight to it.
I had neglected the Minnesota Timberwolves earlier on into the season. They were like my least watched team right out of the gate, mostly just because Anthony Edwards was out at the start, but I have gotten to watch them a good amount lately. I watched their game versus OKC from would have been 2 days ago from now, because this is Friday, it was Wednesday, so not Thanksgiving. And I watched their game versus the Sacramento Kings, where they just completely collapsed in the fourth quarter and overtime, allowing the Kings of all teams to get a win on them. So it's a weird mixed bag. The big thing...
Come on, hold up. Westbrook, though. Westbrook, put some respect on Westbrook's name. All right, let's keep going.
With them this year is they haven't beat any teams, or I don't think they've basically have a really bad losing record at the very least, to teams that are over 500. But what's interesting is they gave OKC a run for their money. It was one of the more competitive games that OKC has played this year. Almost every time the damn game is over by the fourth quarter, but like it was a neck and neck game up until the last couple of minutes of action. So what I would chalk a lot of this up to early on in the year, I don't think we should read into it too much, because frankly, their record was really good for not having Anthony Edwards. Julius Randle was playing out of his mind. Like there were even some people like being like, low key should be in the MVP conversation, but as I have highlighted multiple times now, the MVP conversation this year is just absolutely ridiculous. So no, but he was balling out to start the year, to be sure. Jaden McDaniels was also scoring the ball a little bit more to supplement for the lack of Anthony Edwards available. However, they don't have a fucking point guard, and that is by far their biggest problem. They have waited too long to address it. The Rob Dillingham situation, I don't know why they bought into Rob Dillingham to the degree that they did. I don't know what he looked like in college. I don't know if there was some clear indicator that I was missing, but I remember when that trade happened on draft night, because I believe they traded up by including a future first-round pick to get him. I was very confused, and a lot of people on draft Twitter were very confused, because it just seemed like a relatively big swing on a small guard. And I mean, we're literally working on a deep dive right now about how small guards are kind of dying in the NBA.
They are dying, and it's kind of scary. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I like diversity of like different heights and sizes. You get a guy like Chris Paul in his time in prime age, when he was in that era, and how he was able to finesse around big mans. You still get big mans who are guards that can dribble and do all the crazy stuff, but it's just something about smaller guys. You know what I'm saying? Like Nate, Chris Paul, like just a little bit smaller compared to your bigger size guys. They're able to get in there and do certain crazy things. So I don't know.
At this point, and I can't understand why they went for Dillingham for that reason. He's had his moments, especially as a scorer in the NBA. Like, he's not terrible, but he is nowhere near starting caliber, probably not even playoff rotation caliber at this stage. He's very young. He's in year 2. It's kind of unfair, but Chris Finch also doesn't really want to just, throw him into the flames and be like, figure it out, buddy. He's like getting really limited minutes. So like, if he does have anything to show us, he is not really getting the freedom to do it. But I also understand why he hasn't gotten the freedom to do it, because he's probably just not that good. Mike Conley.
The best thing to do is to put him out there so he can get good. I'm just saying, I mean, if you're not on your way to continuing to like winning championships at this point, like I would spend every amount of time to try to get every player to get minutes to see who can really progress fast.
Was a really good piece for them when they initially got him. However, he is getting really old. Mike Conley was a positive defensive player at his peak, but he would not say he is that now. He can make the right pass, but he doesn't really have a lot of gravity, nor does he get downhill the same way that he did at his peak. Still a very good 3-point shooter, but for the most part, he is a spot-up guy who can make the right pass, and that's just simply not what you want out of your lead guard at this point. The solution has been to start Dante DiVincenzo alongside Anthony Edwards, and though they are both being listed as shooting guards, or on the NBA's website, they are listing DiVincenzo as the point guard, Anthony Edwards is basically the point guard of this team. And the problem with that is Anthony Edwards is not a point guard. He has improved his decision making. He deals with double teams better than he used to before, but he is still nowhere near being an elite level playmaker, or I wouldn't even say he's like a really good one. And raw assist numbers are not always a great indicator of that, but his assist numbers are so bad that I am inclined to be like, yeah, dude, he just does not have it in that particular category this year.
I think he's onto something. I could see, and I can agree with that. I think that Anthony Edwards should be more so of a 2 guard, so he can focus on just being a scorer guy and then try to make plays. But when it's just handed down on you to carry your team with playmaking decisions and scoring, what can he do? You know what I'm saying? Just keep going.
He's actually averaging an even lower amount of assists despite playing a lot of point guard. He's at 3.6 assists per game, 4.5 the year before. He peaked at 5.1. His turnovers are down a little bit, so that's an improvement, I suppose, but it's going down along with the assists. So they're just kind of at this rough crossroads where Ant isn't a point guard, but he's being forced to play point guard, and the offense just is basic as shit. What blew me away when I was watching the Kings game against them was Sacramento has one of the most gross, disorganized offenses that I have seen in the modern era. Like, they run some semblance of a play, but more often than not, it's just your turn, my turn between Malik Monk, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Russell Westbrook, and Dennis Schroeder. And none of those 5 guards are players who I want leading my offense in 2025 in any capacity. DeMar technically has played small forward most of the last few years, but you get what I'm saying. But when I was watching them versus the Timberwolves, it felt like the same thing, except the Timberwolves have slightly better players. In the case of that game, I do think Sacramento was kind of hot. They were hitting a lot of really big shots. But the fourth quarter of that game was egregious for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Okay. So in going into that fourth quarter, 27, 28, so that's 3 less points. In the first half, Minnesota was up 8 points, and in the third quarter, they went down 3. So they were up 5 going into the fourth, which I guess is not that bad. They actually started the fourth well, so they got to like an 8-9 point game at one point, but then they scored 19 points to Sacramento's 25, and they shot an absolutely abysmal 1 for 7 from 3. 6 for 23 from the field is disgusting. 6 for 7 from the line, so they had that going for them at the bare minimum. Sacramento also like gross 1 for 9 from 3, 9 for 25. But by contrast, Sacramento appeared like the better offense, and to me, that is just absolutely unacceptable.
What do you mean? I've seen a lot of improvements from Russell Westbrook as far as him playing point guard. He gets the scoring, and he's been making a lot of good passes and decision making, getting his team active. Now, have I watched the full games of all of the games Sacramento King? No, but I can see that the guy has definitely improved, and like I don't know, I feel like that's like a kind of like a shade shot towards the team in general. If they do good, they do good. Just call it for what it is, Are they the best when it comes to offense? No. And I think that, with Westbrook, him being such a dominant player of needing the ball in his hands, you had that with a lot of players like Carmelo and all of them. So will he contend to get a championship? Who knows, right? The team that is able to become great is when a player can make their team great, not just them. And I just don't think they all have it, nor Timberwolves. I just don't think they got that type of thing right now. And that's just it, you know?
For this team that has Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards, who are at least theoretically star level creators. Yeah, it was such ugly offense. They had 3 assists on their 6 made shots. I would say that over 75% of the shots that they attempted in that fourth quarter were non-assisted field goal attempts. Off the dribble shots from Ant, off the dribble shots from Julius. Jaden McDaniels was doing too much. He went 2 for 6 in that fourth quarter. It was just really, really ugly. Anthony Edwards keeps doing this goddamn step through move, and it's not even cool anymore to me because it's now just a matter of necessity because the offense is devolved to such a degree that Ant doing a bunch of moves when he can't even dribble the ball and throwing the shot up is ultimately better offense than what they are currently whatever else they would be running. So the offense just has been ugly to me. And the thing is, Minnesota's offensive rating isn't that bad. They're 11th out of 30. They're also ninth in defensive rating, which usually, yeah, this is really weird. I didn't even look up their net rating. They're 11th in net rating right now, but they're 10-8. That's so weird. That's so weird. I mean, they're losing a lot of games close, so it makes some sense. Like they lost to Sacramento by 5. They lost, or they lost to Phoenix by 1. So
very a lot of close games that they're having that they're losing. That sounds like maybe a little bit more tighter on the defense and getting more drives ins for free throws, right, to draw fouls, or possibly stop having the team scoring more on you. You know what I'm saying? If you got a good defense overall rating, try to control some of that. But I just think that, yeah, as he's mentioned, that having a good point guard to kind of lessen the blow on, on their team, the star, Edwards, I think that'll help out. Anyways, I think this is good enough value as far as what I got out the video. If you guys want to see the whole rest of it, I'll have his link in the description. Yeah, I mean, he had a good breakdown of just what went on over the time of the week and weekend that's going on with the Wolves. And yeah, see you on the next one. Peace.